Now it's time for Pound ATL.
Welcome to the show today, baby. It's your boy Jimbo Dean, aka Jimbo Slice, aka Jimmy O Bomb. And you can call me any one of those you want. But please do not call me no damn New Orleans Saints fan. This is Pound ATL. That's Big Mike over there and to ground zero, what we like to call it, because he right there with them boys at the Flowery Branch. Holla at me, baby. Hey, we finna talk a little Chris Lindstrom and a little Deion Jones got some expectations. And Chris Lindstrom is the best guard in the NFL. Shout out to me, baby. I shout out to myself. Hey, what's up, Big Mike? What's going on in Atlanta, man? What's going on over there? How you doing this week, man? What's going on, baby?
Hey, man. Doing good. Like I said, man, we looking at the birds. Hey, checking these guys out. I'm seeing a lot of plays being made in training camp, which is a good sign, especially from some players that, I would say this is a really important year for. Be it like in Isaiah Oliver. Hey, watching Isaiah Oliver, I looked at the Falcons scrimmage today. I saw him breaking up passes, and that might be a positive sign. I do think that he's got a lot of technique issues to clean up. And again, we talked about Joe Witt Jr. Last week, which again it wasn't a second too late when we started talking about Joe Witt Jr. because literally the next day after we put out our video, Dan Quinn said the exact same thing about Joe Witt Jr. and how lucky he was to have a coach of his caliber, right? So I think as Dirty Bird Nation, as Pound for Pound ATL family, I think I think this is a time for optimism. We could be pessimistic. We could feed into what the media is saying about the Birds this year. That we basically are the number 18th team right now on the power ranking, which I would disagree with. But I think we got to put the pieces in place this year to, like I said, be better than expected to everybody else, but be as expected from our own expectations. So again, another week, a lot to talk about. Looking forward to just drilling down a little bit more on defense, like we always love to talk about, and just definitely got to talk about Chris Lindstrom because I am really excited about his potential.
We definitely finna talk about you, Chris Lindstrom, because baby, you are looking good, and baby, look at you ain't scared, and guess what? You got the confidence to go with it now. Hey, we sick of being humble around here, okay? That humbling thing, because there's a difference between having swag and being a dog. All right, Chris Lindstrom. Gonna hit that corner now to where he's ready to be a dog, and his swag. Okay, he got a swag. It's confidence and just that doggedness. It's finna get ready to come out. Now we sick and tired of being humble around here. All right, and we ain't trying to brag or we ain't trying to boast, but we did put that Joe Witt thing out before it even hit and I think Toby D even dropped a tweet on us saying, man, we already done talked about it. Now over here in Pound ATL, we are a family and we love to have fun, but doggone it, we starting to hit these things on the head just a little bit. It's almost like we at camp ourselves, like we over there kicking it with the Atlanta Falcons. Like Chris Lindstrom was tired of being humble. Over here, we about to get tired of being humble as well. We about to start letting y'all know that we called it. All right. But I ain't preaching to the crowd once again. Let me get off that soapbox. All right, let's get to it, man. Expectations. Deion Jones got expectations for this defense. It's a championship defense he got expectations for. He said they could be a championship defense, and I don't blame him. I believe it. In 2016, they was a championship defense. Just towards the end, the last or whatever, I don't care about that game. Just to go the way we want it to. But now they done been through that, been there, done that. They can finish. If they get there, they can finish it. They know how to finish it now. They marinated now, I like to say. The boys are marinated on that defensive side of the ball, and I think they tired of losing. And I'm glad they are tired of losing because if you got a defense that's tired of losing, you taking the leash off some dogs, and people are just going to start eating around here. All right? And let's get straight to Chris Lindstrom first, and then we're going to fall back onto Deion Jones with that championship expectations he got for that defense over there. And we got some Keanu Nails, we got some KJs, and we got some Rico Allen that's going to be on the field at the same time. Hey, Pound ATL, y'all stick around because this is going to be a good show. Me and Mike finna give as much as we can in these next 30, 35, 45, 35 minutes. All right, I ain't going to go. All right, I ain't going to go that far. We're going to give you as much as we can, all right, because it's good. There's a lot of stuff coming out of Flowery Branch as of right now on the Thursday. Y'all going to see this on the Saturday. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe real quick, man. We're on our way to 4,000. Holla at me. Shout out to Toby D. Shout out to JR. Hey, shout out to JR. I'll tell you something. I got a lot of respect for that man. Not just because I'm on the show with him, but just what he do behind the scenes. I got to give him a shout out. He's a hard worker. He's a beautiful soul, man. You're a big dog, JR. You are a big dog, and I appreciate it every day. Don't let nobody tell you no difference, okay? Hey, y'all, yeah, if y'all got questions, y'all got anything for me and Mike, Toby D, JR, leave it in the comments below. Down below, let us know what's going on. All right. Chris Lentz, what's up, baby? Unleash that dog. I like the way you and McGregor worked out with the past Falcons this offseason. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, you're doing everything you can to get better. Now with Lentz, in the games that he came back last year in 2019, guess how many sacks he allowed? That's right, a fat 0. Just like when we got COVID-19 opt-outs, that's how many sacks he allowed last year. Look at that power from ATL. You like that? A big goose egg, a 0. He only got 1 penalty. Only 1. Look at that. Oh no. Only 1 penalty last year. Now the 5 games that he did start, we weren't rushing. We weren't doing that good at rushing before. The previous 13 games, we averaged 80 yards rushing. Chris Lentz came back and went 80.8 to be exact. For all you geek heads out there, all your nerds, all your Atlanta Falcons nerds out there, it's 80.8. We were doing the 13 games before Chris Lentz came back. When he came back, it was 103. 103.7. I'm gonna put that 0.7 in there for my nerds out there. 103.7 when he came back from week 15 to 17. The rushing yards went up. Now I don't know if that because Dirk Cutter wasn't running the ball more, which I do doubt it. I think it's whenever we ran the ball with Lynch now, we ran the ball a little better. Just Brian Hill looked better. What more can I say, Mike? All right, Mike. Let me get your opinion. Let me get your thoughts on big dog Chris Lentz, man, because he said he's gonna be the best guard in the league. What you think about that? So somebody over there, the Indianapolis coach, probably might have something to say about that. What you think, big man?
Ooh, okay. So here's the thing. First of all, I think when a Falcon says they want to be the best at something, it's only a few guys on the team that we can really fit into that category right now, right? And I think if you're a person that doesn't really like to argue a lot, you could start at Julio Jones like me. I don't like to argue a lot about Julio Jones. I think he's the best receiver in the NFL. And I think when you mention the best, you have to mention Julio Jones. Now, the Matt Ryan conversation could be a little bit iffy because there are a lot of good quarterbacks. And when you say the best, we know Matt Ryan to be a really good quarterback. But if we really want to just sit around and argue all day, we can say that, Matt Ryan is really, really good, right? And again, same thing with Deion Jones, right? I think for as good as Deion Jones is, when you say who the best is, overall body of work, the only guy I can really say that is just the best at his position in the league is Julio Jones, right? Now, but that does not mean that with Chris Lindstrom saying that he wants to be the best right guard in the NFL, that can't happen. Because here's the thing, man, and I'm glad you talked about Chris Lindstrom, because there are a couple of things about Chris Lindstrom that stick out to me that make me believe that he can be the best offensive guard in the NFL. And I'll tell you why. And I'll go any guard. I mean, he could be at Quentin Nelson is really good. I would say Quentin Nelson is the best as of today. But if you look at Brian Baldinger, shout out to Brian Baldinger, he did a clip on Chris Lindstrom last year. And basically, it was the game against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, you want to know who was if you ask a defensive lineman who was one of the toughest linemen that he played against last year, ask Nick Bosa if he thinks that Chris Lindstrom has the potential. If he thinks Chris Lindstrom has the potential to be the best offensive guard in the league, because that was a game where, hey, the Falcons pulled it out at the last second, but that was a game that Chris Lindstrom played in. That was a game we were running the ball more effectively on the right side. One thing I like about Chris Lindstrom is, if I had to give him a player comparison, hey, this is for like I said, the real knowledgeable football fans. I would give him Alan Faneca, just from Pittsburgh Steelers guy, right? I think he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers 13, 14 years. Matter of fact, he was such a mainstay that again, he was one of the few linemen I can say for the Pittsburgh Steelers that he did so well that people never really worried about it. You never really heard anybody talk negative about Alan Faneca as a player, right? And that's why I give them both the comparison. And another thing when looking on Chris Lindstrom, I stumbled across an old interview from Alan Faneca. Ironically, second year in the league, they were asking him, hey, Alan Faneca, what would you like to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers? And he said the same thing Chris Lindstrom said. I just want to be the best. So I think the mindset is already there. See, here's the thing, man. If you have the mindset that you want to be the best right guard in the league and you put in the necessary work, right? You putting in that work, right? I think ultimately it's possible. Because think about it like this. We drafted a right guard with the number 12 pick when there were at the time considerably better players on the board. But if we look back at last year's draft, I think it was one of the most sound picks of the first round, and one again that will continue to bear fruit for us this year. Because as much as we talk about the left guard position, not once have we said, "Man, I wonder what's going on with the right guard position." I think the right guard position could really end up being a trouble spot. We don't really have to say that this year, so I'm glad we have a Chris Lindstrom. I know we've talked at length about him, but I think he's one of those guys that whatever he says, it's almost like what Julio says. Whatever he says, I'm gonna believe him because he hasn't shown me anything different to make me think that he can't be like that.
And we got somebody that's right beside him. Now I'm gonna ask you this, Mike. Caleb McGarry is right beside him on that right side. Do you think that Caleb McGarry is going to affect Chris Lindstrom from being the best right guard in the league or the best offensive guard in the league? Because they got to work together on that right side. I think them coming in together, I don't know if that – it possibly could not, because over there with the coach, I don't know who their right tackle is. Just don't. But I know Quentin Nelson is one of the best guards in the league. But I don't know who their right tackle is. Couldn't tell you. But I can tell you who Quentin Nelson is. And it's very rare that you'll know an offensive lineman name. Come on now. Holler at me. But you think McGarry going to affect him being the best guard in the league, Mike? I don't think so.
So I think, that and that's a good question. That's a really good question, because I think we almost get, when I think about McGarry and I think about Lindstrom, it reminds me of some of my favorite sales, which are those BOGO sales. Them buy one get one free sales.
Oh, that's good.
And I think eventually that's what you got. That's what you have with Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry. That's exactly what you have with Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry, from the standpoint that at the end of the day, man, let me tell you something. They worked out together, and it seems like they built a bond together. So it seems like those are the type of guys after football practice who might go to each other's houses, after football practice and hang out and actually build like a brotherly bond. Yeah. There's two linemen that I think are probably going to be forever grouped to each other. And on that right side, it's McGarry and it's Lindstrom. As a matter of fact, I can't see anything but McGarry being a plus, because he's another player that I think that, we touch on Lindstrom, we touch on, the left guard position, Matt Hennessy a lot. But Caleb McGarry is a guy that, again, he does, when he's healthy, he comes to work, and he's nasty and he's mean, and he's not a guy that gives up. Not true enough, he took his lumps last year, but I think him taking his lumps last year is why I feel a lot more comfortable this year, in terms of growth, because this is a year where growth pays off for us. We took chances on rookies last year. We played a lot of rookies last year. This is where Hoya, Luakon, these guys are going to pay off for us this year, because they know the system, they know the coach, they know the expectations. They've had a year in the offseason weight program. And like I said, that type of stuff has to start translating to being a difference maker on our team this year. That's what we've struggled with over the years, outside of the Matt Ryans, the Julio Jones, is difference makers. And I think all of those guys you named, with the right type of mindset, coaching, all of those guys have the ability to be difference makers. And it wouldn't surprise me if Caleb McGarry, book it here, if Caleb McGarry is on the short list for possibly being an all-pro this year, possibly making Pro Bowl this year.
Possibly.
Because here's the thing. At left tackle, Jake Matthews is a sound, quiet, pretty straightforward left tackle. But on the flip side, on that right side, at right tackle, I think Caleb McGarry's nastiness sets him aside just a little bit, that, if he can keep it up consistently, we could have a really good year in the run game. I really think the offensive line, again, I said this on the show a couple weeks ago, I really think the offensive line could be a strong point this year. Shout out to Chris Morgan, though. Chris Morgan, you got to get these guys ready to go. And guys, y'all got to listen to Chris Morgan and just be ready to roll. And Alex Mack as well, because Alex Mack is the one who gets his sign. But
pretty much a coach. When he got his rest, he was pretty much coach. Go ahead, Mike. What you finish off?
But yeah, no. But I like McGarry, and I think he's another guy that I really don't worry about when he's at. I worried last year because he came back from heart surgery. But again, man, a guy that comes back from open heart surgery to come back and literally almost start, 12, 13 games and not miss a beat, man, he easy to root for. He one of them guys, he easy to root for, man. He's one of them guys that, like, I really think, I don't know, I think he'll pay dividends for us. Like, the more he is in the game, the better we are.
And I hope some of that dogness that McGarry got is going to rub off on this from working out together this offseason and stuff, that little nasty and that little dogginess. I know I don't care about you. And once I got you down, I want to put my foot on your neck and finish you on off. That's McGarry. Listrom not too much, but maybe that McGarry and them working out together. McGarry sliding into his forte, which kind of tell me he is. With Listrom coming out and saying, "I want to be the best. I am going to be the best guard in the league next year." That telling me that the man is really he's confident and he's ready to be nasty and ready to be a dog. And that humbleness stuff, he finna push it out of the window, and he just finna take care of business and start to bury people. I want to see people. Hey, listen, I want to see people get buried. Okay, once you get them down, go ahead and lay on top of them and bury them. Okay, ride that face mask into their chest plate and let them know that you're there and you ain't going nowhere. And I think that's what he's gonna do. That's what McGarry was doing all right through college. And once he's fully healthy, I think he's gonna start back doing that. And he's trying to tell Lindstrom, hey, look, you need to start doing that too. Just because we offensive linemen don't mean we can't make a little noise, be a nasty dog. And I just want dogs. Look here, pound ATL. In my eyes, your football team, okay, what level you on, is built from the inside out. Okay, right. Lineman, D lineman, and then take care of the rest. The inside out. When I say the inside out, I say linemen, linebackers, corners, and safeties. Offensive linemen, running backs, quarterback, receivers, tight end. You build like that, inside out. If that inside is taken care of, everything else is going to take care of itself, baby. Especially if you got a Julio Jones and a Hayden Hurst, and then you got a Debo Jones, and you got a Keanu O'Neal and Denards and stuff. The rest of that stuff will figure itself out.
Yes,
so
sir.
Build a team from the inside out, and I think that's what that draft when we got two linemen in that draft. I think that's what we were doing. We was going ahead and ensuring that inside, and then this draft we kind of went outside. We still stuck in the inside. We went Hennessy and we went Marlon Davis, so we still stuck in the inside, which is the main thing on a football team. If you think different, put it down in the comments below. Me, Toby D, JR, Mike, we'll hit you up and let you know. But just like Mike agreed with me, inside out. And that's the bread and butter, inside out. Y'all might not know their name, but we do. Better get to know them. All right, man. I love talking about the offensive linemen because it's going to be last time our offensive line was the mainstay. We went to the Super Bowl. That's right. Went to the Super Bowl. Holla at me. All right, man. Dr. Jones, what's up, baby? How you doing over there at Flowery Branch? Feeling good? Former LSU Tiger, one of the fastest linebackers in the nation. Should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year. What's going on, big dog? It's nice to hear you. Nice to see you. Glad that you're doing good. You're healthy. Everybody eating good. You're brushing your teeth. Your feet don't stink. You probably got some nice cleats on. Okay, Dr. Jones, a.k.a. Debo. What's going on, big dog? It's time for Pound ATL to talk about you a little bit. We probably ain't talked about. When the last time we talked about him on here, Mike? When the last time we talked about Debo?
Again, man, it's like, some people, they approach the game so good that you don't need to spend a whole lot of time on them. And again, we talk about, and listen, Jones, boy, if your last name is Jones and you in Atlanta Falcons, we don't talk about you, but you can talk about him today. You can talk about Debo. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Talk about it.
Oh, Mike, you on fire right now, Mike. That buy one, get one free was real good. And now you're on this Jones boy. You ride today, big dog. I know. Hey, but it's funny. You right. If your last name Jones and you on the Atlanta Falcons, we really don't have to. We ain't got too much to say about you. All we got to do is give you praise. We give Jet praise all the time. Now it's time to give Debo a little praise, all right? Debo played in 2019, his stats. I'm just give you 2019 stats because we know Super Bowl year was off the heezy, okay? He had a total of 101 tackles in 2019. Super Bowl year, he had 139. Not too far off, not too bad. 59 solo, 42 assists in 2019. He played in all 16 games coming off that injury, which was good. We needed him to get back and get a full season under his belt. All right. He got 9 in his whole career. He got 9 total interceptions. Now let's name some linebackers out there that got. Y'all put in the comments below down there a linebacker that got more than 9 interceptions. Or just name a good linebacker. How many? Y'all tell me how many interceptions Ray Lewis had in his career. They're going to tell me how many Ray Lewis got. I don't think. Hey, it ain't many. All right. And Deion got 9 already in his career. All right. His total career tackles is 387, and so far for the Atlanta Falcons, 246 solo. Since he's been with the Atlanta Falcons, he had 387 total, 246 total. Now, I like the 9 interceptions. Like in 2019, he only had 1 interception. And that was the one against the Buck where he picked off old baloney arm and Roman needle arm Jamie Winston and scored that touchdown in overtime to go and win it, which gave him one touchdown last year, which is beautiful. I love it. Now, 9 total interceptions, man. Now, Deion Jones come out and saying that, hey, look, my expectations for this defense is championship. We are a championship-style defense. And I have to agree with him, Mike. I think we are. I think we have the pieces. I think we got the players. I think we got the coaches now. Now, that's a big now, that can put these guys in position to make plays. The Atlanta Falcons have never been really known for defense. In that Super Bowl year, I thought we was turning the corner. Well, I ain't gonna say Super Bowl year. When we hired Dan Quinn, I thought we was gonna turn the corner and finally be recognized as a defensive team instead of an offensive team. Because God knows, I love when we score a touchdown, throw touchdown. Julio Jones is crossing the line. I love all that good stuff. But I really want to be known as a defensive team as the Atlanta Falcons. That's what I want to be. I want to be known as just to have a nasty, you don't want to play us this week type of defense. And Deion Jones is coming out and saying during this camp that that's what he expects. That's what we're going to be, and that's who we are. Our expectation is super high this year. And for the leader of that defense to come out and say his expectation to be championship-style defense on the championship level, I love it. Because that's another person coming out making a bold prediction coming out of camp. Not only did Lynch make a bold prediction, saying he's going to be the best guard in the league, but Deion Jones saying we're going to be the championship-level defense in 2020. Now, let me get your thoughts on that, Mike, because I'm loving it. If he said everybody got to live up to it, right? So give me your opinions on that. How you feel about that? I love it.
I love it. I love it. And here's the thing, man. One thing we've learned as Falcons fans is to not really doubt Debo Jones, because at the end of the day, y'all think about it now. Think about how we closed the season out. Who closed the season out for us last year? Now, true enough, we didn't make the playoff, but who picked off Jameis Winston, to end the season? And we ended the season with a touchdown, a defensive touchdown. So, hey, listen, if the guy who ends the season with a defensive touchdown says that, he comes up and he says that, yeah, we are a championship level defense. That's another guy, his last name Jones, and he a Falcon, so believe him, right? So one thing I'll say about this defense, and listen, Anthony Wright, I'm calling you out. All our other people, PATL, who always comment, I want to know what you think about this.
What's up,
what separates this defense this year on the surface right now, before we play some games, from the Super Bowl defense in terms of depth and what they had and what we had? And I think, to be honest with you, if you go pound for pound with a player, right, there's not really much separating this defense with that defense, because if you look at it, we had pretty good play out of the secondary. And I think, to be honest with you, with the reports we're hearing about AJ Terrell, I'm not going to sit here and say that AJ Terrell can lead us to a Super Bowl as a rookie. I don't want to put those expectations on him. But what I think in terms of having a cornerback AJ Terrell knows that quarterbacks are going to be trying him his first year in the league. And I think he's up for the task, right? So what that tells me is, one, with having a Denard, and this is if we stay healthy, with having Denard, with having Sheffield, with having Oliver, with having AJ Terrell, I'm comfortable and I'm confident enough, to be honest with you, to say that this defense could be better. Because don't get me wrong. Now let's think about it like this. Let's think about that. Let's touch on the Super Bowl defense for a second. We got above average play from a Brian Poole that year, right? Undrafted free agent out of Florida, showed out, right? I really think at the nickel position, right? You look at who could potentially play the nickel this year, a Kendall Sheffield, maybe a little Rico Allen if KZ on the field, right? You know what I'm saying? You look at these guys and you say, well, hey, if you really think about it, player for player, we really have a lot more athletic players in better position. You know what I mean? But here's the thing, man. If Rico Allen is our nickelback and getting nickelback snaps to put KZ on the field, ultimately that favors us, right? Yep. So I think Deion Jones, one, seeing what we seeing, I think that, he knows what talent is. And I think, like I said, to be honest with you, for as much as we talk about the players for why this could be a championship year, I think it's two people who we touch on every show. And we're going to sound like a broken record, but we're going to keep talking about them, because when you got excellence, you got to talk about it. And that's Joe Witt Jr. and Raheem Morris. And Ulbrich as well, too. But Joe Witt Jr. and Raheem Morris, with their vision of this defense, you know what I mean? With Raheem Morris seeing all kind of offenses, being in the league, I believe you said, 16, 17 years? You've been in the league, right? Yeah. So, as long as he's been in the league, he's seeing these offenses, right? And I think what he finally has is his personnel in place to be able to really play fast. And I think we'll disguise a lot more coverages this year. I think you'll see a lot more man-to-man, a lot more, just like I said, a lot more blitzing from different positions, that we haven't seen. Like I said, hey, and again, who knows? Michael Walker is exceeding expectations right now. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. If we can use him to be a Devontae Campbell replacement, as JR always likes to talk about, I just don't. I'm gonna I'm gonna look for. And here's my prediction right now. I'll give you a prediction of the defense. Now, championship level defense, yes. Could we be championship level? Absolutely. What do I think is what do I consider a success this year for this defense? I would say anywhere from 12th and below. I think we can either be at the worst, the 12th best defense in the league. And I think at best, we could be a top 5 defense just because at the end of the day, we got the personnel to be able to, make this happen. So,
and coming off that, what you said about Brian Poole, in 2019, Brian Poole was the #1 slot corner in the NFL. And guess who was number 2 pound for pound ATL? That's right. Daquez Denard was the #2 slot corner in the NFL last year. We just replaced one with the other on those lines that you were saying, Mike. With that Super Bowl defense, this defensive day, it's really ain't no big of a difference. And add Joe Wick Jr. is probably gonna notch it up just a little bit. We're gonna leap up a notch just a little bit with that defensive mind and to control that secondary. And as of this week, Markel Walker 2 interceptions in camp. Isaiah Oliver, I seen him actually controlling his body and actually batting the ball down on a fly route. Let's give him a round of applause. Because what I seen was somebody who knew and felt comfortable with that Isaiah Oliver back down. And you said, Jimmy, it's just a back down at camp. Okay. All right, he ain't played in no games yet. But if you at practice against a whole bunch of NFL players, that's almost considered a game. A scrimmage at practice is a bunch of NFL players, just like you'll play on a Sunday. Don't give me that he just doing it at camp bullshit. I'm sorry I had to cuss because some people are starting to get under my skin with that. If you at camp going against the ones who's going to start on Sunday, that is going against an NFL team. It might not be Sunday, but it's going against an NFL team, and you're 24 games away from the game, from the actual first game against the Seattle Seahawks. And you practicing against the ones who's going to start against the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday, and you making those plays. That is pretty much playing in a preseason game or an NFL game in my eyes. If you're going up against a Calvin Ridley or a Julio Jones, you are Trey Will, you are Hayden Hurst, you are going against people who don't play NFL games. If AJ Terrell is doing that against a Julio Jones and the Calvin Ridley, he'll doing it against people who don't play in NFL games and who were successful in NFL games. Now, if they do this at practice, let's say we was playing against the Saints or the Jacksonville Jaguars at practice right now. That is an NFL game. It just ain't on TV. So if you can make plays against people who have did it on Sunday, you could do it on Sunday. I ain't saying that the man is going to be a superstar, come out of me, but he's making plays at an NFL practice. How many of y'all have made a play at an NFL practice? How many of y'all have made a play at a college football practice? Hell, how many of y'all have made a play at a high school practice or a high school game? If you want to go there, I think that if you can make plays at camp and you can make plays at practice, you could do it in the game. Absolutely. So for us to speak on when we say our expectation of what he could be or our opinion about what he might be, that's what we saying off of practice. I'm finna get fired up, man. Y'all better watch yourself out there because I'm sick of people saying, well, he did nothing in the game. Well, he got to show me in the game. Well, if he's showing you at practice, you practice like you play. How many of y'all don't play the game? If you don't play the game, you practice exactly the same way you play. The game is won on Tuesday through Thursday. Sunday is just on TV for me and you to see. If you ain't doing it at practice, you ain't even going to make it to Sunday.
That's right.
So don't give me this he ain't did in this game. I'm sick of that. Cut it out, man. All right? I know he ain't did it in the game yet because you ain't seen it yet. That means you ain't keeping up with camp. Go ahead, Mike. I'm getting fired up.
No. That's good though. That's good though, and I like that. But let me ask you something, right? What we saying out of Oliver, right? And let's be honest with you. Let's caveat a little bit. Sheffield's, he got his foot stepped on a couple weeks ago. He hadn't been able to kind of be in the mix as as we would like to see. You want Sheffield out there because he's in the mix of it, right? But I think Isaiah Oliver is taking advantage of those extra reps. Now, what are let's say Isaiah Oliver does win the job. What's realistic for Isaiah Oliver this year for you? To be honest with You know what? Because he's got the length, man. He's got the ability. Again, he's picked off plays. I mean, he's made a lot of interceptions. You know, not a lot of interceptions. Made a few interceptions, but it's like, you know, what do you think 2020 Isaiah Oliver looks like for the Atlanta Falcons? Best case, worst case. Well, worst case, we know what worst case is. Just go best case. Don't even go worst case.
I mean, worst case, I mean, best case, right? Because he's really not going to get hit too hard because they're going to be going at AJ Terrell. It's no hands down, no question about it. So he's going to look a little better in 2021 because he's not going to get much coming his way because everybody's going to attack AJ Terrell via that AJ Terrell is going to be starting on that other outside corner over there. But my expectation is like a Logan Ryan type of year, like consistent Logan Ryan seasons. And y'all don't know Logan Ryan, that's the former corner for the Patriots. And I think, the Titans last year? Logan Ryan was the Titans last year. I think he's going to be more like a Logan Ryan type of cornerback. And I can see Isaiah Oliver is hearing what some of the people got to say out there. And he's starting to feel it a little bit. And that's okay because as a former cornerback who played in high school and college, okay? Anyways, he can feel it. And when you can feel that type of negativity coming towards you for somebody in the secondary, you start to bulk up a little bit. Your mind starts to turn into somebody that you really don't think, you really don't care about nobody. It's you against everybody, which when it comes to the secondary, that's how it should be. It should be you against everybody because at the end of the day, you are out there on the island. You are by yourself. Really, it ain't too much help you're going to get that much unless the defense change. Now, when the ball get up in the air, it's you and that man, really. So you can start out in a zone or whatever, but once the ball get in there, it's up for you to make a play. And that's when the secondary is, in my opinion, the secondary is one of the harder positions to play in the NFL because you're going backwards and when everybody coming forward towards you and you got to think on the fly, you got to be fast. You don't know what they're going to do. They do. You don't know. And you got to pretty much play the man and the ball and try not to get pass interference. So I think for Isaiah Oliver, his mind frame has changed. And with me watching that, what he did on the sideline with that fly route, I see his body's under control. He's getting his head around like a DB supposed to, and it looked natural. Now, I ain't going to say because he got his head around in 2019, but it just didn't look natural to me. But now it looked natural due to Joe Witt Jr.
So, yep. And again, you alley-ooping Joe Witt Jr. What he said about Joe Witt Jr. as well, he said, hey, I've never received coaching like this.
He said that, right.
I think what you're seeing is in some of the refinement of his technique is directly correlated to Joe Witt Jr.
Right.
Like no doubt about it. No bones about it, right? So that's really why I was just wondering because I saw the same thing. I'm seeing a guy that, hey, we've been hard on in the offseason. He was in my first closing thoughts, but I think ultimately we got to let these players grow, man. We got to let these guys go through their emotions. And again, you know, we just here talking about it. These are the guys actually out here doing it, living it every day. And again, I appreciate it. But one thing that I do want to touch on that we like I said, we spend a lot of time on the secondary today. We talk about Debo Jones, but again, we cannot neglect kind of some of the nuances of the defensive line because that's another reason why I feel like, again, really, if for us to win a championship, it really starts there. Again, you know, and real quick, we'll touch on them real quick because again, we could do a whole show on all these guys. But missed the fifth round, overlooked, top 3 defensive tackle in the league, Grady Jarrett, right? You know, again, that. Okay, I'm not here to say that Dante Fowler is Dwight Freeney. Not at all. Not at all. He is not Dwight Freeney. I repeat 12 times because I know somebody in the comment is going to say, man, you out here considering Dante Fowler to be Dwight Freeney. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, as a pass rusher, you feed off your other pass rusher. And if your other pass rushers out there getting sacks, right, it makes you play your best. At the end of the day, it gives me the correlation to Vic Beasley. Vic Beasley had his best season when Dwight Freeney was on the other side, right? We've been looking for that same Vic Beasley since then, but it took a Dwight Freeney to get the most out of Vic Beasley. I think it's the same thing with Tech and Dante, right? I think Dante Fowler, his relationship with Dan Quinn, his approach, his pass rush acumen, because Dante Fowler is not just a good football player; he is a student of the game as well. And I think with the type of year that Tech knows that the expectations he puts on himself. I think seeing his 5th-year contract getting declined and basically seeing a 5th-year option picked up for a guy who may not have even loved football and Vic Beasley, I think having a Tech that maybe can play under control, maybe a Charles Harris kind of sniffing down his back a little bit with that, because we run a little bit more one gap. In Atlanta than the two gap he ran in Atlanta than he ran in Miami. Yeah. I think we got the right mix of people. And and talking to JR and Toby, we were like, man, I asked JR the question the other day. I was like, JR, I was like, two guys that I think are almost like, it's almost like Ebony and Ivory is Kaminsky and Marlon Davidson. Because let me ask you something right now. Now, because I asked him the same question, I want to ask you while we're here talking to our pound for pound family is what do you think separates a Kaminsky right now and a Marlon Davidson right now? Because they look almost like the same player. Or like, what do you see out of those guys?
It really only thing that is separating them two guys is when they had 1 year in the NFL and the other one haven't. But that's the only difference, big man.
Right.
Now, Kaminsky knows what he finna get into. Marlon Davis have been welcome to the NFL. You know that welcome to the NFL moment that you see. Marlon Davis ain't had that he had that welcome to the SEC moment, but he ain't had that welcome to the NFL moment. Kaminsky has had that welcome to the NFL moment, but you thought you was this and that, and then you ran up into somebody that didn't even really supposed to be that good, but then you ran up on him, and then you realize, oh, this is an NFL guy. I need to change my whole mind frame on how I approach this game. He done had a whole offseason and a quarantine. Shout out to the quarantine. I hate that we're going through it, but some of these players are, because of the pandemic and the quarantine, and had some wake up moments. Some moments that where, okay, this is what I need to seize. This is what I need to seize my moment. And coming out of the pandemic, it's a lot of negative stuff in the pandemic, but come out of it, you can see the brightness at the end of the tunnel and the sunshine and some of that light bulb go off. Kaminsky have had that and had time to marinate on it and realize how he can make it better. Marlon Davidson haven't experienced that yet. He might be getting it at camp. He might be getting that welcome to the NFL moment at camp. He might not already got. I'm pretty sure with the pads on, Marlon Davidson got it to welcome to the NFL, and somebody done said it to him. I'm pretty sure McGarry or Lindstrom or Matthews done said it to him already. Welcome to the NFL at camp. He gonna get it before he get to the game, and he gonna get it in the game as well, because game speed is different from practice speed, but you're still getting pro level type reps. The caveat on what I said earlier, but the only difference between Kaminsky and the Marlon Davidson is Marlon Davidson haven't had that NFL game just yet to where he can understand where game speed is going to be a little more faster. He ain't been punched in the mouth by somebody else yet. He just been getting punched in the mouth by his own teammates. And that's the only difference between the Kaminsky and the Marlon Davidson in my eyes. Kaminsky looking real good though. Kaminsky looking like he's ready to test some. I'm telling you, man. Like he ready to get into a phone booth with somebody and do some punching. And I love that. Phone booth fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yes,
hey.
Yes, sir.
This Flowery Branch, this camp has been one of the most exciting camps we've had since Super Bowl year. I don't know if y'all feel it out there, pound ATL, but me, Mike, Toby, D, and JR, we starting to get that gut feeling of that Super Bowl year. It's starting to feel just like it, ain't it, Mike? Good God, man.
Yeah.
I said, this feel like Super Bowl.
That's right. That's right. That's what I said. Good. I mean, good rookies, good mix of veterans. Like I said, we got fast players, we got physical players. We finally living up to the fast and physical motto. Like I said, man, we're not selling false optimism. We just calling it like we see it. And at the end of the day, it gives you a little bit more when you go to work and people are like, well, the Falcons don't have it. The Falcons are like, no. Listen. We listen to Pound ATL and it's like, no, we see a little bit more. And again, y'all see the same thing we see. A lot of times we go in the comments, y'all see the exact same thing we see. And that's why we love our Pound ATL family. So anyway, I think, bro, it might be a good time to go and skip on to the closing thoughts. I got somebody very special. I know it. And matter of fact,
we can skip on to it. And
let me segue myself into closing thoughts because I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real quick, but I want to make sure that y'all understand where I'm coming from today. Because hey, first and foremost, I say it like this, and I'm proud to tell anybody, like, hey, I'm a person of faith. At the end of the day, like I said, I believe that I believe what I believe, right? So
right.
Why am I talking about faith in the Falcons today, right? Because it goes into, and again, all the fact it's not even about a guy that's on the team right now. This is about our friend that we talk about, Mr. Vic Beasley. Now, there was a report that came out that Vic Beasley's heart wasn't necessarily in the football. And I think all of us in Falcon Nation, all of us in Pound for Pound ATL land, we've always asked ourselves, does Vic Beasley really love football, right? And we'd always make kind of excuses like, yeah, I mean, he love it, but maybe his mind is somewhere else. And I think the report that came out kind of reinforces that his mind may have been somewhere else other than football, And I think there was a report that came out that Vic Beasley wanted to have the largest, super church in the South, which I think is admirable. I think it's great, but I think it's like it reminded me of somebody that did do that, and that was like Reggie White. Those guys like that. At the end of the day, we always talk about the passer disaster, right? But let me tell you what the passer disaster did. What he did was he played football and he let his play show on the field, and he let that money that he made while he was on the field, he used that to fuel his passion, right? So at the end of the day, Vic, all of that stuff that you wanted, I believe it could have came true if you would have, took what you had and built off what you had and then stepped out, But at the end of the day, hey, man, when you led by something, you got to go where you led, And I think it is a reminder, because we here to talk Falcons, that, you know what, we really got to appreciate Dante Fowler. Look at Dante Fowler. He loves football. There's not a question of, is he a football player when he walks through the door? He is oozing football IQ and oozing the swagger of a guy that's a National Football League player, right? So I think that question coming out, passion, pass rush, a lot of times that's why we saw a lot of effort. We saw a guy that dominated in college, to be honest with you. You look at his Clemson film, we saw a guy that I was excited about. And as a UGA fan, oh my gosh, I remember the game where he just made Aaron Murray probably still has nightmares about Big Beasley, right? So he knew the potential was there. But I think in my closing thoughts, it's like, you know what, Vic, I wish you well and whatever your next endeavors are. But again, it's kind of like, I don't know what your career is going to hold for you. I hope your career is able to come together. I hope really you're able to do what you need to do. But like, man, it's almost like one of those Chris Carters. Come on, man.
Come on,
you
man.
know? So look, Vic Beasley, you're my closing thoughts. This will be the last time I talk about you in the closing thoughts. But I'm going to say it calm because I really want to get upset. But you know what? I'm going to calm myself down. Vic Beasley, we salute you. Jimbo, take us away with your closing thoughts, brother.
Boy, it's almost getting tiresome to have his name still connected to us. It's almost getting tiresome. But I think that's the last time, Victor B. We mean it this time. All right, my closing thoughts, man. That was all my closing thoughts. I appreciate it, Mike, Big Mike, and Victor B. Like I said, I hope this is the last time we actually talk about you. And because of that fifth round pick that we was gonna get, that's the only reason why you're still around. But I want to get onto this BTM squad. And if y'all know who the BTM squad is, that is Allen, KZ, and Keanu Neal. And I seen the tweet come out, and we kind of touched it on the live show that we had this past week that we had, and we was talking about the brains, the turnovers, and the muscle. And that's the BTM squad that I'm talking about, who's got the possibility that came out of Florida Branch this week that they're going to be on the field at the same time. And if that can't get you fired up and excited, I just don't know what else to tell you, all right? The brains, and this is the new nickname for them when they on the field. And I hope that Dan Quinn can hear me, and he'll say, okay, now I want that BTM package to go in. Send in that BTM package, that brains, that turnover, and that muscle package to go in on defense. And let's get things rocking and rolling, moving fast, and knocking people out and turning the ball over. Now, if y'all don't know, the brains is Mr. Rico Allen himself. Go over down on the sports. I did a show on him, and I explained to you why he is the brains of that defense. And I got stats to go behind it, and I got players' quotes that lead me to let me know that he is the brains behind some of that defense secondary stuff. Go to put that down on the sports, our sister channel, and me and Mike, our other channel, and see what I'm talking about. So, like I said, it came out of camp that them threes not possibly, they are going to be on the field at the same time. And I don't know if y'all noticed that Toby kind of alluded to it in the last show that thanks to Unintentional Ground and Lieutenant Dan them over there, they seen them on the field at the same time during camp. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm loving it. So I went on and gave them a nickname, and I called them the BTM squad. So whenever I see them on the field, it's going to be BTM squad, and that's what I'm going to be saying. And I got to say this, the versatility off of that, because you can blitz out of that. You can rotate covers off of that. You can stay in man out of that. You can run a cloud out of that. You can run a cobra out of that. A cobra is a cornerback blitz. For some people that don't know that, that's cobra. All right. So BTM, Allen, KZ, and Keanu Neal. Allen, the brains. KZ, the turnover. and Keanu Neal that muscle, Mr. Boom himself. And I'm so excited to see that package is going to be put into that defense of packages. And with Denard, AJ Terrell, Oliver, all this good stuff, Joe Witt Jr., it's going to be a beautiful thing for us Atlanta Falcons this year because that tight end running down the seam stuff probably not going to happen this year with Mr. Keanu Neal on the field at the same time as a KZ and Allen. Probably not going to happen. That beating us down the middle stuff coming out of the backfield game.
Right.
So both slides. You call me the one of the ones you want. You can call me the damn Royal Saints fan. All right. Off my ATL, Big Mike. Another week, y'all. Shout out to WD, shout out to JR, man. We can go live again next week. We're gonna get that. But we on the roll over here, Pound ATL, man. We starting to hit stuff on the head, and it feels good. And we gonna be ready. Hey, catch me and Mike on Pound ATL every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed yet, please do so. And this Atlanta Falcon content, man, we dropping it, baby. Hey, Mike, go ahead and plug your Twitter real quick because I hope you following people now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm following. Hey, listen. Yeah. Look. If I ain't following you back, call me out. Like I said, I ain't getting no call outs last week, so that must mean I'm following you back. At Mike Dub, MIKE_Dub. Follow your boy. Follow back. Again, all Falcons, all the time. Hit me, DM me. I'll respond back. Like I said, y'all make this great because y'all the most dedicated fan base in the NFL. Because if you had as much anxiety as I had, and you still support these birds, and you listen to us, then y'all the reason why we do what we do. So all love.
All love, big dog. This is Pound ATL, man. We'll catch y'all next Saturday. Shout out to Toby. Shout out to JR. Hey, man, until then, we'll see y'all then, man. Hey, wear your mask. Brush your teeth. Yo.
Peace. Yes, sir.